Hi everyone, and welcome to Studio Jake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a nice, calm Wednesday morning. We've had nothing but rain in LA, and so I heard some birds chirping, and that is a nice change of pace. We're going to be talking about SJWs and comic books again because Marvel Comics, like Valiant Comics and several others, I've just decided to go full whole hog with SJWs and even giving them superhero roles because that's what we do these days because it's dumb. Now, be sure to like this video and share it out on all your platforms. If you're on Facebook, like the page and turn on all notifications. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell, turn on all notifications there because YouTube does that weird curating thing where they curate your subscription feed. It's really annoying and it really hurts us smaller creators who are just trying to get our content out there, but they do it anyway. It's nice and not nice. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the New Warriors, or as I'm calling them, the newer New Warriors. With that in mind, sit back and relax, and welcome to Studio Jake. So Marvel's The New Warriors, they've been around for a while. They kind of rose to popularity in the 90s. They had some really great characters like Speedball, who could move at super fast speeds and could fire like these kinetic energy orbs at people. There's a character named Justice who was telekinetic, a character named Firestorm, and she could control flames. There's a character named Rage who was super strong, and a character named Night Thrasher, and for a while, the Scarlet Spider was a member of the New Warriors. He wasn't a member for very long. It's a shame. He actually was a pretty good addition to the team. There was some jealousy between him and Justice over Firestorm. They were, had a little bit of competition going. And they had a couple other characters like someone named Turbo who had a power suit of some kind that allowed her to fly and also had a couple other ones. She was actually a superhero connected to an older hero called Torpedo who was friends with Daredevil. Same abilities, same suit, that sort of thing. There was a bunch of them, and they went in and out. There was a character who could control gravity and could use that to give himself super strength. I can't, his name escapes me, but they were kind of risen to popularity in the 90s, and then they kind of took a forefront in the Civil War because they took on some villains who were a little bit above their league, and so these normally the New Warriors kind of battle just gangsters, tech villains, things like that. But they actually tried to take on the name of the villain escapes me. But when they confronted him, it was a villain who could explode, and so he exploded and killed like hundreds of people, including elementary school children. It was a disaster that led into the Civil War, and in the comic books, that's what leads to the Superhero Registration Act, which of course is mirrored in Captain America's Civil War, but they're called the Sokovia Accords. Now, they're getting a new take. They're introducing 5 new characters to go, and I'm getting this information from Bounding Into Comics. And they wrote an article called Marvel Comics Introduces New Non-Binary Superhero Character Snowflake as part of woke New Warriors lineup. I don't know what Marvel is thinking. So they decided to woke up the characters just a couple of years ago, and sales tanked. They did this whole debacle with Captain America where they made him, he was actually a sleeper agent from Hydra, and that was a disaster, and they had to basically rewrite the last issue and gave a ridiculous plot ending to it that just basically kind of explained away a lot of the stuff that happens. They killed off Black Widow during the plot. It was a nightmare. They replaced Thor with Jane Foster, and she went by Thor for some reason because that's a thing. Um, they killed off Iron Man and replaced him with a girl called Ironheart, who is one of the most poorly conceived superheroes I've ever seen, right along with the new Miss Marvel. Now, to the new Miss Marvel's credit, Kamala Khan, I will say in the animated series, Avengers, I believe it was called Ultron Revolution, her character is really good in that. They did a good job of making her kind of a modern superhero, but her comic book origin is terrible, and quite frankly, it's an embarrassment. But anyway, so according to this piece by Bounding into Comics, Marvel Comics released a brand new trailer introducing their new Warriors lineup that introduces a new superhero called Safespace and his non-binary twin called Snowflake. So New, New Warriors writer Daniel Kibblesmith introduced a new team, detailed the premise of the upcoming series. My editors on the previous books that I had done, like Loki and Black Panther versus Deadpool, asked if I'd be interested in doing a New Warriors tie-in that actually poses them as the authority figures in this conflict instead of the rebels, and I really liked the attention to that. Oh, so these teen these new teen superheroes are going to be the authorities. Okay, that's good to know. Kibblesmith then details that Marvel Comics will be introducing a new team of New Warriors that will be mentored by the classic New Warriors team. And so they have like this painting or this illustration with the new characters kind of at the forefront. And then you see Speedball and Night Thrasher and Rage and Firestorm in the background. I don't see Justice, which is a little odd because he was kind of like the bigwig of the character. So anyway, he continues. Um, so because the new warriors are the authority figures in this story, they have to be mentoring new warriors who are under 21 and subject to the laws that triggered the outlawed event. This new law is making it illegal to be a vigilante under 21. He's speaking with Marvel.com. Killsmith added, I wanted to have teen characters who felt as now as the New Warriors did in 1990. Okay, it's not 1990. The New Warriors have been zeitgeist characters. No, they haven't from the beginning. You get Edgy Skateboarder Night Thrasher in the 90s and the reality TV team in the 2000s, which no one cared about. And now in 2020, we have New Warriors who will have never grown up without the internet, and one character appears to essentially live inside it. So then he goes through, there's a character named Trailblazer who looks like she needs to hit the gym. I don't know how else to describe it. It's not, she does not look healthy. Um, but, you know, diversity and body positivity. And they have this character named Screen Time, who I guess his power is he's always connected to the internet. His costume is actually pretty cool, though, to give credit. So then we come to Snowflake and Safe Space. So the idea here, according to Bounding into Comics, which is quoting Snowflake, which is quoting Snowflake, Kibblesmith. Snowflake and Safe Space, sorry, are the twins, and their names are very similar to Screen Time. It's this idea that these are terms that get thrown around on the internet that they don't seem as derogatory, to take those words and kind of wear them as badges of honor, which is hysterical. Safe Space is kind of a big, burly, sort of stereotypical jock. He can create force fields, but he can only trigger them if he is protecting someone else. Oh my gosh. So why not call him Force Field? And also, why is he the one in pink? Seriously, his costume is pink, and his hair is pink, and his eyes are pink. I thought he was creating force fields, not ice cream. Although that would actually be a pretty cool power. As for Snowflake, Kibble explains Snowflake is non-binary and goes by they, them because that's stupid, and we have to do that because it's Marvel Comics. Continuing on, Snowflake has the power to generate individual crystallized snowflake-shaped shurikens, so they're ice, not snow. Anyway, the connotations of the word snowflake in our culture right now are something fragile. Yes, it's a bunch of wimps who melt at the slightest offense. And this is a character who's turning into something sharp. So ice, not snow. Snowflake is the person who has the more offensive power, and Safe Space is the person who has the more defensive power. The idea is that they would mirror each other and complement each other. Okay, and then they have the last character. I don't know why Bounding into Comics didn't put them last. That would have been more impactful, or at the front, I guess. So then there's this character named B Negative, who I guess is a vampire and supposedly might have gotten a blood transfusion to Michael Morius. Okay, so this is incredibly lazy writing that they have to go to a go to a what's sectors of our society. So before they were trying to force our favorite characters to step into this to become sort of these SJW-esque characters. When that didn't work, so now they're going to circumvent the New Warriors, who were a good team in the '90s and somewhat in the early 2000s, but they really fell off track. No one even cared about them up until the Civil War. Let's be honest. When was the last time you heard of a great New Warrior story arc? You probably haven't. I don't know what Marvel is thinking about this. Since Disney has acquisitioned them, they have really gone off the rails, and I'm worried that it's going to affect the movies. They did kind of trickle in stuff into the movies, which was a little disheartening, but I'm hoping that this is will be a temporary thing. No one's going to buy this comic. Now, people will buy the first issue, so it'll look like it'll do really well, because first issues always sell well. I've bought first issues of comics that then I dropped and I never read again. It's just something you do as a collector. You want the first issue because there's an idea that it might be worth something in the future. This comic is going to be worth nothing but toilet paper when we all die from the zombie apocalypse. I'm not predicting this going well. For one thing, SGWs don't buy comics, because if they did, sales prices would have gone up when they were doing their original kind of woking the things. And I'm worried that it's going to happen with DC as well, as they step into the fifth generation. This is just lazy writing, it's poor writing, it lacks any of the imagination and creativity of truly great Marvel writers like Stan Lee, like Steve Ditko, like Steve Kirby. What happened to those guys? And where we're to the point where this is the kind of crap that the comic book industry is pushing. This is why Comicsgate was so important. This is why those independent creators are so important. Is because these publishing companies aren't doing well, and I really feel like this is going to be somehow become a Hulu miniseries soon. Just wait, I guarantee it. That's all the time I have for today. I know this week has been shorter episodes. It's just because of everything that's going on in the world, but I hope that you still enjoy it nonetheless. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Parler at Real Jacob Berry. Facebook is Author Jacob Berry. YouTube is Studio Jake. And of course, you can go to my blog, jacobberry.blog, read more of my stuff. I've got more pop culture, nerd, geek, anime, video game stuff over there, especially for you film buffs. I got plenty of stuff for you over there. So head that direction, and I'll see you next time, right after you purchase my novel, The Seven Royals, All Good Things. You can get it on Kobo, on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Walmart.com. So let's try the outro again. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.